Hi, welcome back. I hope you're having a great day. We are on our final signature and it's going to be a double waterfall. So this is the piece I selected and the measurements are going to be a little bit different than the pages. So this is going to come in at 8 and let's call it 8 1/4. Well, it's 8 and 4/16. So go to either 8 3/8 or 8 1/4. Let me make sure I've got this straight. Okay, and then this is going to be 8 1/2. I'll deal with my cookie measurement. All right, you are going to make 10 waterfalls, and without the decorative element, they are going to measure at 5 5/8 by 3 5/8. Let's just double check this one. Yeah, 5 5/8 by 3 5/8. So 3 5/8 by 5 5/8, and you're going to do a 1/2 inch score on each end. So when you get, stop the video when you get those 10 made, then come back and we will start putting them on. All right, so here we go. I am going to put them on at this angle because it's easier for me to line things up. So I'm going to visually do approximately 1/2 inch on each end, and then we've got just a little more than 1/2 inch there, and I'm going to come a 1/2 inch off the top, almost. So let me get this first one set. I'm going to do kind of a pencil mark here because I already know what my width is going to be. Let me make sure I have this straight. Well, now I've got it down to 3/8 of an inch. That's okay. I'll be okay with that. 1/8 of an inch, because I want to make sure, because of the scalloped edges, I want to make sure I've got enough down there. All right. So let's do then, if I'm at 3/8 of an inch, are those? No, they are not at the same height. Goodness sakes. And here I thought my ruler was telling me the truth. This one here needs to drop down just a little bit. Come on, come on, come on. All right, so I'm going to do it this way. 3/8 of an inch. Okay, so let us get the rest of these on. And then we're going to play with our scraps. Come right up to that edge. I'm just going to tap it down to make sure that these are lining up right before I commit them. Wow, my scallops are way off, but they're laying right. This one's cockeyed. Aha! Oh my goodness sakes. Well, let's see what happens here. I can take that one out if I have to. See, that one's not laying right. Okay. Didn't do a good job putting on my little scallop bottoms. Okay, we're getting down to the last two. Fortunate for you, you can pause the video and do all this. I just don't like the way that looks, but I'll get this on first before I start messing with that. I think what's interfering more than anything is my scalloped edge, that I have it off because this is lining up fairly decently. Short of cutting, this one's the worst. Short of cutting a new one, and I'm not going to do that on video. Just leave it. Okay, so what I've done with the scraps, you have a lot. So I went through and pulled a bunch of them out, and I am putting on the first layer like so. So off the strips I was able to cut two each. I think I have these all upside down. Two each off of one piece, so that on this side I could, I think I missed one. This one goes here. This one goes here. I want them to match. Otherwise, I don't care. All right, so now the other thing that I did was I cut 10 more. There's enough scraps in there to do that. But these are also fairly close to being the size of cards. So you can save the other set to make cards. In fact, you've got a couple of other strips, but they don't come to this 3.5. Or you can take these and put them on the underside, which is what I'm going to do, but after the fact, because you don't need to see me glue on 2 sets of these. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting the first set down, get them glued in place, and pick the front that you want to see on the top. I picked the large envelope side so that the images that I see here are pleasing images. I don't have any cut aparts left. And just so that you are aware, I did cut these down to 3.5 by 4 7/8. These will make for some great backgrounds. This is kind of one of the tedious parts of a signature, is when you're using it to make a waterfall. You've got all the finishing touches to the waterfall that you've got to get done, such as putting all these on. And then this is the reverse side of the large envelope that I'm using. It's got such warm, beautiful warm colors. I'll turn it this way so the words are going the right direction. They say postcard. Okay. Now the other thing I did was I cut 10 pieces, 3/8 of an inch, and just wide enough to fit in here. And I'm going to glue them down so it helps to break up all that red. So again, here's another one of those tedious sections. Oops, get down here. So you're going to need 10 of these. I'll try and get this done as fast as I can. If you don't want to do this, that is entirely up to you, but I like to try to hide the red if I can. There's plenty enough of it. And I thought that these red circles that look like lips, and I know that's not what they are, but that's kind of what they remind me of. Oh my goodness, I got a dollop of glue. Oh no. Last two. And we'll move on to the flaps that will be used to help control and close the waterfall. Okay. All right, so let's work with our right side page first. It is going to measure at 5 inches across by the 8 1/4. And you're going to do a 1/2 inch score and a 3/4 inch score on this piece. And I did a 1/4 inch gusset because as photos get added to this, it's going to bulk up quite a bit. Oh no. Well, it should still work. I turned this on the wrong side. I need to, oh shoot. I've got to take 1/8 of an inch off each end for this to fit. I cannot believe that I did that. When the measurements are so close to one another, this can happen, where I've not paid attention to what side I've had my paper on. So it's going to be shorter in its height. Let me see now, is this going to fit? Yes. Okay, so what I want to do real quick is ink this edge. All right, now let's try this again. Much better fit. If you come up to the 1/2 inch score line, when you close your gusset, it should be flat here on the end. And then this should be the same measurement. We are at 5 1/16, and that's because I want to try and close this gap as much as possible. And then we've got the height here, so let's make sure this is all going to line up and match. Okay, I'm going to put this on. I don't know if I cut the width on this the right way. So assuming that that's my taped edge, well, I overlapped, no biggie. It is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and fuss over it and cut and trim again. If you want yours to be exact, find your middle, and then otherwise just stick with the measurements I've provided you. See, these are about 3/8 of an inch off. So a little bit more could have come off the edge to bring them in and match them up a little bit. But like I said, I'm not going to worry about it. It's not worth it, not worth the stress of it. Okay, so we are going to glue these panels in, and I've used this panel, have not used it yet, so we're going to use this here. Set this in just next to that 3/4 inch score mark. And then let's put this one in. Same thing, using this piece with this beautiful swirl. I'm going to turn it up this way so the swirls on each flap are going up in the same direction, which is up from the bottom up through the center. Like that. So we got our swirls. Okay. So now we're going to work on the outside. Now I haven't done anything with this. My intent was either to allow this for journaling, the 2 lighter panels, or you can put additional photos. And also keep in mind that back behind the waterfalls, you've got a spot where you can put some photos. I also used a light enough paper that you could do some hand journaling back here. So now we're going to work on the front. Oh, I did too have a design for that. Oh, sometimes I forget my own brain. Now these can be covered over, but I created a little bit of a strip here just to add some dimension. And again, you can still put your photos over this. It's not intended to be a tuck of any kind. I forgot I cut these. I just wanted to add a little bit of a break. So I'm coming just inside, so you see that edge. And then there's a light side and a dark side. I've chosen the light side so that it will blend. And of course, these again are out of my scraps. This will just add a little bit of different dimension here. And again, it's where you can still put your photos over this. And here's the other one. I'm going to need to tack a little bit of glue down here. There we go. And again, make sure I've got the light side down. Now, if you want to use the darker side, that's entirely your choice. If you want to use a different strip, again, that's your choice. If you don't want to do anything and you want to leave this open, that is your choice. So there, we're done there. Now, we're going to go to the wood grain panel, and we're going to cut 2 pieces that are going to fit like such. Now this is where I could get in trouble. because what I had done was I had cut a tuck I think this is going to be a problem, these two not matching up. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. What my intent was to create a tuck, and maybe I still can, it's just not going to be as deep on this one side. I don't want to tear these apart and redo them, and the fact that I've now glued them down, ay, ay, ay. Let me see here. Let me see. What if I back these up a little bit? That's what I can do, is I can cut this piece shorter so that this has a spot to rest. That's what I will do. All right, so let's get these on, because I need these on to do that. So if you've stayed with my measurements, this is how we're going to fix it. If you have cut so that they center, that they're in the middle, then you're going to be just fine with my original plan. Either plan is going to work. It's just going to depend on the size of the tuck we're going to create here in a minute. All right, my original cuts were 4 1/4. So if you've cut these so that 4 1/4 or thereabouts is your center, this measurement will work by 2 5/8. But we're going to cut this back a little bit because the sizes I gave you, these do not center. So we're going to start with this one because it's the one that's going to get covered. So we're going to cut this back. To here, just in front of this red edge. So now that means this is now at 3 5/8. So now I will cut this one to 3 5/8 so that we have them both at the same size. I hope. Uh-oh, gosh darn it. I don't think I read my ruler right. 3 3/8. And I cut this one at 3 5/8. So guess what? I'm gonna take another. So 3, oh my gosh, I'm so rattled now. Let's see what these look like. These might be worth. Okay, so if this is going to be the way it opens, and this is what, no, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, so if you stayed with the measurements I gave you for the panels, I've got this down to 3 5/8 by 2 5/8, and then you're gonna make a mark on one end. Get the end of the ruler I can actually read. You're going to make a mark at 1 1/2. You're going to make a tick mark here, and then you're going to make a tick mark at, okay, at 2 1/4, because I've already cut mine. So at 2 1/4. So if yours is square, make a tick mark at 2 1/4, make a tick mark at 1 1/2, and then cut that on the diagonal between the 2 tick marks, and what you're cutting off is this corner up here. So you're going to want to do 2 of those. And then I'm going to tape across the end, this right end, and then I'm going to tape across the bottom. I do not want to put tape here, here, or here, because that will prevent this from being a tuck. Get this up here where you can see what it is I'm doing. Now, I went to my scraps and I used the parts that have the Christmas tree, but now I'm going to have to cut it down to fit on this. So this angle remained the same, but what's going to be different is this angle down here. So I'm going to place a tick mark, and then I'm going to trim and then the tree goes there. Then I'm going to repeat that process. I'm making a couple of tick marks to make sure I stay even on my trimmer. And I apologize, but I forgot to ink this piece. Okay, let's go ahead and get this on. And I'm going to butt it right. I'm going to make sure my gusset's flat because I don't want to lay this taped edge on a collapsed gusset. So make sure it's up nice and straight, and then lay this down right on the edge, and that will also work as a support for keeping that gusset going nice and straight. So if you're making albums from scratch on your own, you'll kind of know what to do. Put this right on the end, make sure that gusset is standing up straight. Yeah, see, that will work. There's always a way to fix it. Okay, that one goes there. This one goes here. Let's go ahead and let's glue these in place. Okay. Then I went back to the gears and found a couple of clocks, and I don't know that there's really a pattern. I'm just going to put them on here to fit, and that's what I'm going to use down here to decorate these. In fact, I don't even like that look. I don't care if the clock's upside down or not. I want this up on the top. And I did not put glue on the very tip of that piece because I don't want it gluing down to the panel. All right, so let's see, what's the best way to put this one? We're going to put this one. Do I want it this way? It fits better this way. Now I happen to have some of these red, there they are, some of these red gems extras that I've cut. I'm just going to cut some of the string off the end, and I'm going to put one here, 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 so that they're balanced. I'm going to put one here. Let me snip these off real fast. Adds just a little tiny bit of color down here on the bottom. That one's going to go there. These things are not that easy to hold on to and trim, but there's no sense in throwing them away when I can certainly capitalize on having them by creating looks with them. All right, so now up here on the top part, I took two of the remaining cards, mounted it, and we're just going to slide it in right here. I chose the Christmas tree and Magical Time. And the way I cut these here, these should sit in here nicely without much interference with the top of this. So let's get that done. Okay, where's my... And I'm going to glue it in. I'm going to center it up here at the top. I'm going to put it down, and then I'm going to pick this up and pop that in behind it. And then this one should lay down here quite easily because I don't have a twig there interfering. All right, now this was a card that I chose Dear Santa, so it will come in here and it will hold this closed. So these being off in the big scheme of things did not interfere with anything. So the only thing left for me to put, but this time I'm going to use some tape. Is to put my bling on. I don't want to use glue here simply because it would seep over and I don't want that. Okay, there we go. Now, if you want, you can add some bling here to really dress this up on the front. I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do it off camera. I really want this page just to sparkle, but I don't want to spend so much time doing trinket things on camera. So I'm just going to tell you that I'm going to go ahead and run some bling here, but we are now done. Now, if you also want to add some bling to this top row, you could do that, but I would encourage you not to add it to the following rows because these will catch on that bling. All right, so let's get this tucked away and let's get tape on the back and we can put it in our album. And I've got to cap off something here real quick because once I open that album, I do not want to smear it on the ink. So I'm going to get that out of the way. Now I want to put the support, the waterfalls are running this way, so that's where I want to make sure I'm putting the support, is the length of, not so much the length of the waterfall, but over the space of the waterfall. That's where a lot of weight's going to get added with photos. So I want to make sure that those are supported on the back side. Okay, so let's get our album. And I remember I cut it off a little bit in the height. Gussets want to collapse. I got to make sure that when I tape these in, they don't do that. All right, not a worry in the world. I would think it was this way that ended up getting trimmed. Anyway, it works fine. I can see this. I'm going to have a little bit of an edge here. No big deal. So let's turn this way. And then I'm going to I want to come up to at least this patterned piece. I would rather have the excess here on the end. No, that is not even in there straight. Oh, Charlie. I am totally cockeyed. Oh, that came up nice and easy. Okay, let's try this again. Leaning against that ribbon and it's tweaking the album placement. That might have been what the problem was. I've got a collapsed gusset, but I'm just going to ignore it for the moment. I want to make sure this is going in here as straight as I can get it. Okay. Now we're going to start to peel off. When I do this, because my gussets want to collapse, which means they want to flatten out, when I pull this tape back here, I am going to pay particular attention that the gusset is standing up tall, because if I don't, when I put that tape down, then the gusset is going to be whatever position I left it in when I put the tape down. So I want it up tall. So now I put that down and it should help keep that gusset from flattening out too much. So So now I am taking the rest of the tape off. And then the same thing, I am going to, the gussets will stand up tall or taller when there is additional weight put in with the photos so that these have some bulk, because the reason they want to collapse is there's nothing to support underneath these pages yet. As these fill up, then this 1/4 inch will be supported a lot better. I did not want to use an 1/8. I know someone's going to go, why didn't you use an 1/8? Because I don't want you to get into the situation where we didn't allow for room for photos. I'm going to be adding paper to the back side. That's additional depth. And then when the photos get added, that's additional depth. These are eventually going to come up like this because of that. So the 1/4 inch ensures that we're going to have plenty of room for the waterfall to grow, and then we will fill the gusset. All right, so we are done with that signature, and we are done with the album. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'm going to be starting a new one here soon. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And then give a big, huge shout out to Scrap N Create. They're an online store. A pleasure to work with them. They give me these beautiful collections to play with, and I very much appreciate it. So hopefully I will see you on the next build. Until then.